Hello everyone, this is Gage from Gondorian Smith, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys another Third Age Reforged online multiplayer battle replay. This one is a very special 3 versus 4 Good versus Evil Siege of Dol Amroth, which is a very cool map that was created by WK from the Reforged development team. And this was, and just looking at it, I mean, you can tell it looks like it took a ton of time to put together, but I can assure you it is an incredibly fun map to play. You can see it's got all kinds of different layers to defend and attack from. See, it's even got this nice little coastal area with this dock because Dol Amroth is technically like a coastal city, and it looks really nice. And I also should mention that this one is a 3 vs 4 Good versus Evil, and I think the money was, yes, it was 39,000 for the defenders, so 13k each, and 48k for the attackers, so 12k each. And we can go ahead and go into the army compositions, beginning with my own, and then I'll go a little bit into what we had in mind in terms of tactics. So for my generals unit, I have one unit of the veterans of Osgiliath with both armor upgrades, and these guys cost 1100 florins with both armor upgrades, and I think based off of their performance in this battle and in lots of other battles that I have used them, I do not think I will actually be bringing them anymore. They're just kind of in my opinion in terms of like actual damage output and stuff like that. But anyway, in addition to them, I've got one unit of the very good Wardens of the White Tower, who are an excellent sword and shield infantry unit. I've also got one unit of the Pelargir Marines, who are of course an AP Jav unit. I've got 5 units of the Gondor infantry with 1 armor upgrade, 2 units of the Citadel Guard, who are way over here, who have 8 attack, 28 defense, and are really good, just a really solid spear unit. They do of course have the -3 or -4 malice against other infantry. However, the AP damage and the just overall good stats of the Citadel Guard can tend to make them actually do quite well against other heavily armored targets. But anyway, I also have 2 units, of course, of the Fountain Guard, who no longer have the spear wall. However, they are still very good, very deadly AP halberds. In addition to this, I've got a ton of archers. I've got 1 unit of the body-piercing Athelian Rangers, and 2 units of the Ramus Ecor Garrison Archers, as well as 2 units of the standard Gondor Archers with 1 armor upgrade each. So we can now go into the army comps of my 2 allies, who are both going to be playing as Dol Amroth. The first of which is Legate Lothus, who has like 4 units, I believe, of the Tarnostian Guard, maybe only 2. I'm pretty positive he has like 3 or 4. They're an okay mid-tier spear unit, but again, being spears, they're not going to get a lot of kills. And against the attackers that we have on the field today, I do not think they're going to be doing very good at all. He's got a couple units of the Dor and Ernal Pikemen, who are not a bad pike unit. He's got 3 units of the Edhelm Halberdiers, who are an AP halberd unit. Not quite as good, of course, as the Fountain Guard, but still going to be very good against the heavily armored targets that we are going to be facing down today. He's also got, this is Murrow, but I think he's also got like 3 or 4 units of the, what are they called? Here's his other 2 units of Tarnostian Guard, but I think he's got 3 or 4 units of the Edhelm Men-at-Arms. But that pretty much does it for his army. I don't think he really has many archers, except for maybe 3 units of the Dor and Ernal archers. He also has 1 catapult, but this is Murrow's catapult. I think Legate's catapult is over here. Yes, it's right there. So, kind of an interesting army, I would say, from Legate. I think it is kind of a mistake to not have any body piercing, especially because Dol Amroth can actually bring 2 body piercing archers, which is not a very common thing to see at all. But anyway, we can now go into Murrow's army, who, like I said before, is also going to be commanding an army from Dol Amroth. Murrow has 1 unit of the Nimrodel Rangers, as well as 1 unit of the Black Veil Archers. He's got 3 or 4 units of the Edhelm Men-at-Arms. Both him and Legate have a unit of Haven Guard for their general. I think he also has, over here, yes, he's got 1 unit of his own Haven Guard. He's got some Talon Knights. He's also got 3 units of the Tirith Air Wardens. He's got his own 3 units of Halberdiers, as well as a bunch of Men-at-Arms. And I'm pretty sure that just about does it for his army, with the exception of 1 unit, I believe, of the standard Tirith Air Marksmen, who are up here on the wall. And something to note about this settlement is that most archers actually can fire from this secondary wall here to pretty much any point in the outer defense, which means that the body-piercing rangers can fire directly into this gate here, so if any troops blow up, they are going to get a ton of kills. They can also actually target any portion of the walls along here, so it is definitely a very hard place to defend. However, as you can tell, it is a totally massive settlement. So if the attackers decide to really thin out your lines, the defenders will have a very difficult time. But that pretty much does it for the army comp, so we can now go over to the first of the evil armies, who is over here kind of by himself, but he will of course wait until his allies get here to begin the attack. Anyway, we have Napoleon commanding an army from Isengard. He definitely went very skirmish heavy. He's got 2 units of the Urkai crossbows, I believe 3 units of the Urkai archers. He's also got like 3 or 4 units of the Urkai infantry, 1 unit of Dunlending berserkers, 2 units of the Half-Orc Spear Guard, who are an okay spear unit. They do have shield wall, so they will be doing a pretty good job of pushing. He's got 1 Orc Ballista and 1 Catapult, surprisingly enough. He's also got a unit of the Guards of Orthanc, one unit of the Uruk-hai Berserkers, and that pretty much does it for his army. So we can now go over to the next of the attackers, who is positioned over here. This is going to be Derek, commanding an army of Umbar. He's got one unit of the Harbingers of Castamere for his general. He's got 3 or 4 units of the Corsair Savages. He's got 2 units of the Castamere's Legion, one of which is hiding. He's also got 2 units of Abrazan and Narduzagar, who are a 2-handed sword shock infantry, who are also hiding somewhere around here. He's got 1 unit maybe of Belagir archers, as well as 1 unit of the Abrazan and Ardubawib. He's got 1 unit of the Corsair crossbowmen, I think they're called, as well as 1 unit of the Castamere's Rangers, so a lot of skirmishers indeed. He's also got 2 units of the Belagir footmen. You can see he's also got his other unit of Corsair Savages there, but that'll pretty much do it for his army. So we can now go over here to the next army, which is another Isengard army, this time being commanded by Eclipse. And Eclipse definitely didn't go as skirmish heavy, but he does have some good skirmishers, and he definitely has a lot of good elites. He's got 2 units of pikes, 1 ballista. He's got 3 or 4 units of the Uruk-hai infantry, one of which actually has the armor upgrade. You can see they actually have the Nazkai bodyguard unit model from like 0.91, I believe, is when that unit was still in the game. He's also got 2 units of the Snaga skirmishers, 1 unit of Nazkai in here, somewhere around here, I believe, for his general. He's also got some Guards of Orthanc, some Berserkers, and a couple units of crossbows. So we can now go over here to the final army, who is second Pink, who's going to be commanding the Witch Realm of Angmar. And now, Second Pink went for a very, very interesting army, but I have to say that it definitely, I think, paid out for him, because he's got 2 units of the Blackwatch Legion, 3 units, it looks like, of the Guardians of Carndum, 1 with the armor upgrade. He's got 2 units of the Witch Realm Pikemen, who also have the armor upgrade. You can see they've got their black armor, and they actually have some really nice fur cloaks. You can definitely tell they come from the north. And over here, he's got a ton of trolls. He's got 1 unit of Trolls of Gundabad, 1 unit of the Trolls of Angmar, and 2 units of Mountain Trolls. For his general, he's got 1 unit of the Witch Realm Blackguard, and he also has 1 unit of the Stalkers. So he definitely went for a very elite, very good pushing army, but he only has like just over 1,000 troops. So if he is not supported well by his allies, I think he will have a very tough time. Also, something to know about this settlement is I think that you can actually deploy some troops over here if you are an attacker, but they did not decide to do that. So we will not have to worry about defending that portion of the citadel, or kind of settlement, I guess you could say, for now. But without any further ado, we can go ahead and start off. But I will definitely make a cut here, because obviously the attackers are going to, or Napoleon is going to wait for his allies to get over here to begin the assault. So I will go ahead and see you guys in just a bit. Alright, so I think we're right about where we need to be. Something that I should probably mention is that the Blackroot Vale Archers of Murrow actually decided to go up here on this wall and try to target down some of the Umbar forces that were coming across. And you can see that he did do a lot of damage, actually, to the Corsair Savages. The Body Piercing really going to have a really nice time against the low armor of those shock infantrymen. But also, the Ballista, actually, of one of the Isengard players, was able to take out about half the unit in addition to the wall of those Blackroot Vale Archers, so Murrow definitely paid quite heavily for doing that. Now, I should actually go into... Actually, I'm going to pause it. No, I'll play it, but I think I'll go a little bit slower. Something that I should mention is that our tactic here was to allow Murrow to try to defend this whole small area here, mostly just because, it is a pretty small area, so we thought he'd be able to handle it at least somewhat well. And then myself and Legate Lothis would try to defend this whole outer area. And now the thing is, I know tactically it's not a very wise thing to try to spread yourself out this thin and try to defend this whole area as well as the other one too, but I just find that it's really, I just don't like people, well, I really dislike it when people just run further into the citadel, or settlement, I guess so you could say, just to defend like one choke point, because I mean, we could just defend straight here, because actually, I don't think any of us knew this at the time, but you can't actually go up onto this big wall through any of these doors right here. You can see one is being defended by my Citadel Guard. There's also one on the other side, but you can't actually get up onto this big wall through that side. So the only way you can get through here is through this one small opening. So I think it would have been really cheesy, not to mention kind of a lame tactic, to just try to defend that one area with our whole force, because it would have been really difficult, I think, for the attackers to try to break through there. So that is why we decided to try to defend out here as much as we could, and then try to retreat if we were forced to do so. But that was kind of our reasoning behind that. So if you guys were wondering, that is kind of why we decided to do so. But over here, we also decided that Legate Lothis would try to support both myself and Murrow wherever he could. Mostly over towards my side, just because it's a bigger area. But you can see that he does have some troops over here. He has his catapult, as well as, I think, some infantry, but I'm not totally positive about that. Looks like maybe some some tier 3 wardens, actually. Also, something to note about these Talon Knights, they're pretty similar in a lot of ways to the Wardens of the White Tower. However, they have slightly lower stats, but you can actually bring 2 of them before the price increase, which is something very different for the Wardens of the White Tower. Also, I should mention that this was done on large settings because I can't tell you how many times I tried to do this on huge settings, but it just kept crashing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. So I did decide to just try to do it on large settings. I will hopefully try to do it on huge settings in a different... Well, I want to do it on huge settings on this same area, but in a different time, I guess I could say. But also, I was a little bit sad that two players were playing as Isengard because it doesn't really make a lot of sense for Isengard to be down here. But I didn't really want to like tell him what to be because that's kind of like it's kind of like a jerk. Well, not really like a weird thing. It's just kind of like a weird thing to do. But anyway, even though I obviously do that sometimes, like for elves versus dwarves. But anyway, that's kind of a different situation. But anyway, you can see that one of the portions of the wall has gone down here. You can see that Eclipse is sending forward a lot of his troops. He's got some crossbows. He's got some infantry as well as some Snaggle skirmishers. So he's definitely going to try to skirmish down a little bit of Murrow before just rushing headlong into the area, which is definitely a good thing, because you do not really want to go straight into this settlement right away, because you can see the archers obviously have an insanely good position to fire down from. And you can see that we're really just being spread very, very thin. You can see one Isengard army and one Umbar army are going to attack each of these gates. There's one here and one on the other end. And then the other two armies are going to focus their attention on this one portion of the wall here. So we're really, really being spread out very, very thin, which is very unfortunate. Because being on large settings, you know, there's not as many troops per unit, so it is very difficult sometimes to actually defend bigger settlements like this. You can see over here particularly, we don't really have many units on the wall. But again, like I said before, I do have this unit of Citadel Guard here defending this portion of the wall, because I didn't want them to sneak up onto the bigger part and silence all of our archers, not to mention surround us completely. But unfortunately, I did not know at the time that you couldn't even go up onto the wall through this door. So that is going to be a very big mistake by myself. Yeah, you can see Napoleon with his very skirmish-heavy force going around that way, and looks like Umbar is going to be focusing on this side. But elsewhere, we can see that Legate Lothus is trying to reform his catapult, getting into a little bit better of a position. The ballista of Eclipse is trying to target, looks like these Tier 3 wardens who are in shield wall. That would be a very good target, because being in shield wall, they would take a ton of losses from the ballista that has a very intense area of effect. But Legate Lothus did notice this, so he's going to pull back with his men, not wanting them to get taken out so quickly. So he's going to retreat there with his forces. Looks like Murrow has a lot of his forces actually here on the right side and also on the gate, but not too many on this side. You can see that Gundabad is kind of getting a little bit closer to the wall. Looks like he definitely wants to be the first in, which is unsurprising, considering he has a very, very rush-focused faction. And army in general. Maybe he only has 2 units of the Guardians. I thought he had 3, but... No, I must have been... No, he does have 3. Okay. I was confused. Yeah, and here's his 4 units of Trolls. And the Trolls, are going to be very difficult to deal with because... At least for Murrow's army, Murrow does not have a lot of AP besides his Halberdiers. So if he loses Halberdiers, he's going to find it very, very difficult to deal with these Trolls, because archers obviously aren't going to do very much damage to Trolls. Not to mention, he doesn't have very many pikes. He only has halberds, so the Witcherhelm pikemen, as well as the Isengard pikes, I think, are also going to be very difficult for him to deal with. Yeah, you can see it looks like Umbar is taking this gate, and the other gate is going to be attacked by Isengard, so definitely splitting up their forces, and because they have an extra player, and they're playing evil factions, they can definitely afford to do so, to kind of split off from themselves. I'll go put up a little bit faster. Yeah, I actually played this battle a couple days ago, and I was just waiting a few more days to decide to upload it, before I decided to upload it, sorry. Just because I don't have that many replays at the moment, so I was just kind of trying to save them for a little bit, until I got a few more. Looks like Angmar does not want to actually go after this gap in the wall, instead they're going to go after a different one, but you can see Gundabad really rushing forward, so they must have anticipated that, yeah, that the Isengard Ballista is going to take down another portion of the wall somewhere, because they're definitely not going for the already opened part. Unfortunately, though, no javelins from both Dol Amroth armies, which I think was a pretty big mistake, because against all these heavily armored factions, javelins would have been very, very helpful, especially because units like Men-at-Arms and Gondor infantry would not be able to deal with Uruk-hai infantry or Guardians of Khurd-dûm whatsoever, and especially not units like Castamir's Legion. So a lot of AP and javelins I think would have been very good. Unfortunately, I myself only brought 1 unit of Pelargir Marines, and the Pelargir Marines are definitely not a very good javelin they're okay, but not great. You can see the catapult narrowly missing those Guardians of Carndum, instead hitting just a few of the Uruk crossbows. And there goes a portion of the walls, and unfortunately Imrahil, as you saw just a little bit ago, moved away with a lot of his forces to this gate here. So while this wall is down, Gundabad, or sorry, Angmar, I should say, is going to be able to rush forward here, and because, like I said before, Imrahil does not have a lot of AP here, he's going to find himself struggling to deal with all of these heavily armored units like the Mountain Trolls and the Guardians of Carndum, as well as the Witchron Pikes, and especially the Blackwatch Legion. You can see, here come the Trolls, and right here, the Talon Knights, who are a unit that costs 1,100 florins, being completely overwhelmed, or about to be anyway. And because they're completely unsupported, that will mean the death of this unit, and it's going to be a very, very bad thing, because it's a very expensive unit, and in the right situations can do very well, but being totally unsupported like this, they're going to get absolutely butchered by these Trolls and Guardians of Carndum. You see Imrahil is trying to commit some units here, but spears and men-at-arms will not be enough to deal with the Trolls and Guardians, so he's going to have to commit some AP there. You can see Legate Lothus is pushing forward some Tier 3 Wardens, but again, spears are not going to be enough to hold that. We're trying to do our best here with the archers, but again, really the only thing the archers are going to be doing good against over here in this fight are the Witchron Pikes. You can see the Talon Knights taking a lot of losses already. Elsewhere, it looks like the attackers are just kind of biding their time, just waiting, trying to think out their assault before engaging, which is of course a very good idea. Vanguard standing there. Of course, a very, very good halberd unit. Unfortunately, because they lost their spear wall, they're not quite as good, but they're still definitely good. Yeah, we'll take a look back over here again, because this is where things are definitely getting heavy. Oh, we can see some skirmishers were able to sneak in there and do a big amount of damage to, or large amount of damage to those Edhelm men-at-arms. Ooh, the ballista narrowly missing there. Oh, body piercing going after skirmishers, not honestly a good idea. Would be definitely better served to fire at different targets like these big blobs here. Ooh, Blackwatch Legion here are going to be able to completely nullify the Tier 3 Warden just by pushing straight through them. So already things are really not looking good for us. You can see the percentage is still very close though. And the Talon Knight's already down to 3. That's just a horrendous, horrendous loss there. Talon Knight's going to be no match for the Trolls. And the Edhelm Halberdiers are actually going to try to retreat along with anything else that Imrahil can salvage, because we had decided that Imrahil was not going to be able to hold on here. He just did not have the amount or the type of forces that would have been able to deal with Isengard and Angmar. So he's actually going to have to retreat all the way over here to this ramp. You can see Legate Lothus is trying to retreat with his catapult as well. But unfortunately, the attackers can get up another way than just this one ramp. They can actually come up all the way behind. Excuse me. Sorry. And they can come all the way behind here. So if Imrahil's not careful, he could find himself surrounded very quickly, and not only himself surrounded, but the entire other defense. And if they wanted to, the attackers could even actually just go straight up here to the city center and just take the capital that way. But also, I should mention that if my voice sounds a little odd, it's because I recorded this whole video just a little while ago, but unfortunately when I was trying to edit, I realized that my mic somehow was not on or unplugged or something, because I did not get any of my own voice audio. I only heard the game audio, so obviously I'm having to redo this. But anyway, you can see Darriot pushing forward with a ram and towers here. Unfortunately, we don't have the amount of troops to deal with any of the towers quite yet, so we're going to kind of have to just allow them to get up on the walls, which is very unfortunate because that means they will be able to put skirmishers up there. Over here, though, you can see that one unit of the Halberdiers actually was committed to the fight, and you can see they're doing very well. They're actually able to do quite a bit of damage. However, because of all the fear inspiring here, they are going to rout, as well as all these Tier 3 Wardens. So far, things are really not looking too good for us. Although the percentage is still pretty close. The body piercing and all the arrows up there is really also helping things to be a little bit closer. See a few of the Trolls getting burnt, but most of them are still going to be okay because of their hit points. And over here you can see they're just trying to retreat. Imrahil going to try to retreat with his general's unit of the Haven Guard before he loses it. Some Edhelm men-at-arms there as well. Unfortunately, it looks like Legate Lothus. I don't know if his catapult's going to be able to escape, and that'll be very unfortunate, because that'll be another unit that costs 1,000 florins just wasted, just like those Talon Knights. Okay, infantry coming off the walls. They decided they didn't want to be up there just getting shot, so they're going to retreat to somewhere else. And we'll take a look elsewhere. Looks like some troops are going up on the walls, so I will try to counter that with my own Gondor infantry. My plan here was just kind of to try to do as much damage as possible, especially to a unit like the Corsair infantry, The Corsair Savages will definitely be able to do very well against my infantry because of their AP, but it will actually make them be in the range of my archers, and I'll be trying to use my low-tier archers like the Ramscourt Garrison archers to target those low-tier, lightly armored shock infantrymen. The Isengard being commanded by Napoleon, getting closer to the walls over here. He's not quite there with the Ram, but his towers are about there. He's going to try to sneak around here with his siege towers and begin attacking my Citadel Guard, I would assume. But also you can see, because we don't have enough men here, he's going to be able to actually put a bunch of archers up here on this wall eventually if he so chooses. Looking back, I think we probably should have put some of these like Spearmen Tarnostian Guard up here on the wall, and of course my Citadel Guard, who don't really need to be there, or my Gondor Infantry, and kind of let this gate be a little bit weaker in terms of defense, because these skirmishers, as you will see later in the battle, really just destroy us so quickly. You'll see that later in the battle. I'm obviously not going to say who wins or not. Again, the Gondor Infantry going to do well against the Corsair Infantry, but being surrounded by some Corsair Savages is definitely not going to be very good for their health. They're going to take a lot of losses fighting them. Belligear Footmen up there on the wall. And elsewhere it looks like Isengard and Angmar are just continuing their slaughter, really, just pushing forward constantly. You can see the Trolls and Angmar leading the way, as well as some Uruk-hai Berserkers. These men-at-arms trying to hold the line here to allow the catapult to escape, but unfortunately going to rout. So these Trolls will be able to catch this catapult out, I feel like.
Ram has breached the gates.
Ooh, things are really not looking too good for us, honestly. Oh, also, if you were wondering why I'm playing Gondor again, that is because someone did ask me to play as Gondor again, so that is why I will be, that's why I am playing as them, I should say. The Boromir there.
Our cunning foe has reached our walls with their siege tower. We must repel.
Oof, yeah, the Troll is going to be able to catch those catapult crew members, and again, going to be another loss of 1,000 foreign unit before it was able to really do anything at all. However, the body piercing of Murrow and my own veterans of Osgiliath will be able to position themselves nicely on this wall. So once the assault does begin again over here, with Murrow's kind of reformed lines, the body piercing will be able to definitely keep the men of Dol Amroth in the fight here, at least for a while. And I actually don't think that the attackers realized that they could go around to the back way, at least for a pretty long time, because they do not exploit that kind of gap in the defense, you could say, for quite some time. My Ithilien Rangers trying to target some of the lightly armored troops like the Corsair Infantry that actually routed them. Corsair Savages not doing too well either against my infantry. My infantry still looking pretty healthy. Belligear Footmen still sitting up on the wall. Looks like Napoleon and Darrett both had a very slow approach to things, but again, that's fine. However, if they're not careful, they could find themselves in a bad situation because of how reckless the assault of Angmar into the other Isengard army is going. But however, their assault is going very well, I should say. Up here, you can see Napoleon putting a bunch of troops up here on the wall, and again, there's nothing I can do to stop it, really. The only unit I have here is my Citadel Guard, and I was worried. I didn't want to actually put them up here on the wall, because if I did, then the infantry over here could just run pretty much wherever they wanted to. They could run through this door, they could run through that door, they could pretty much just go wherever the hell they wanted to do it, wherever they wanted to go. And again, that's just kind of and what kind of happens when you're outnumbered so badly. And again, I think I might have already said this, but I did want to do this on huge settings, and I kind of wanted there to be Mordor or more Umbar armies instead of the two Isengard armies, because it doesn't really make sense for Isengard to be here, but I didn't want to force players to be certain factions, at least in this battle, especially because I didn't even tell Legate Lothus and Murrow to be Dol Amroth. I think they just kind of wanted to be. Belligear Footmen taking some losses here. I did decide to target them a little bit, just with like 1 or 2 volleys of my body piercing there, because they are so blobbed up. But elsewhere, you can see that Isengard and Angmar are just continuously pushing forward here. Gonna try to wait a little bit though, gonna skirmish down some forces, or at least try to. They do have some Snaga skirmishers here, trying to throw those javelins into the front lines here. Actually, it doesn't look like they're doing too great of a job, but this is a really nice defense here. You can see he's got Edhelm Halberdiers, Tirith Air Wardens, and some Black Swan Vanguard, so a lot of AP, as well as a lot of holding power here. But again, what's he called? Second Pink still does have a lot of good pushing units like the Guardians of Khardum and what are they called? The Blackwatch Legion. There's also some crossbows coming forward here. There's the Blackwatch Legion there. He doesn't have too many pikes left over though. This unit's still relatively healthy, but the other one is not. He still does have a ton of trolls, but luckily there is more AP there, so we should be better in that respect. because Murrow just did not have enough AP on his front line there to hold on to that area for any length of time. And the Beligir footmen have now come off the wall and are going to begin the attack against my Fountain Guard and Gondor infantry. The Beligir footmen are going to be no match for my forces there. Over here, though, some Narduzagar. Ooh, that's a real scary shock infantry unit going to come over here and begin attacking my Gondor infantry, who are going to be no match for them. So I am going to try to focus them down with some archer fire. I think the catapult of Murrow might actually help me out as well against those guys. And over here, oh yes, you can see over here that the attack at the gate has begun. You can see that my Peligrim Marines are all out of ammo. They did a very nice amount of damage to the infantry up here on the wall. And my own infantry, some Peligrim Marines, are trying to hold here against the Urkai infantry and Berserkers and Dunning Berserkers, but unfortunately my quality of troops here is not enough to deal with the Isengard forces here. So the Spearmen are going to come over here and help out. I've also committed my Wardens of the White Tower, who actually have taken 10 losses, which is very unfortunate from a catapult shot back there. So they are going to be committed here to re-solidify the line. I'm also using my archers to target these Berserkers. And you can see the Berserkers are taking a lot of losses there because of their low armor. And over here, the Fountain Guard are actually getting surrounded. But again, that's actually fine because you can see, because they're not being surrounded like a circle, really, they're actually going to be able to deal with this relatively well. I'm sorry if you can hear my dog barking. If she keeps barking, I'll stop her in a second. But anyway, yeah, my Fountain Guard are going to do actually not bad. And again, like I said, we could have avoided all of this, like all these bad things going on, like being spread out so thin and being shot in the back by skirmishers that are actually coming up the walls. Now you can see the archers targeting the spears. We could have avoided all that by just simply defending that one choke point, but I find that to be a really cheesy strategy, so we decided to not do that. Anyway, it's getting a little bit laggy. For some reason, whenever lately when I've been doing replays, it gets a little bit laggy for some reason, for no apparent reason. But if we just stay still for a bit, I think it'll be fine. Anyway, yeah, the Berserker's taking a lot of losses from my archers, and that's definitely good because it's something that we sorely need, because we are being beaten back very heavily here. And the archers of Napoleon, like I said before, he's a very skirmish-heavy army, really taking their toll on these Tarnassian guards here. Well, he's actually got... Oh, Legate Lothus has 2 units of Tarnassian guards here. I honestly think he should pull back 1 unit of Tarnassian guard to just go up on this wall here and try to stop those archers from firing. Over here you can see my Citadel Guard being attacked now by some Urkai infantry. My Urkai infantry are going to be, or my Citadel Guard, sorry, are going to be able to far outclass the Urkai infantry just because my Citadel Guard are in a nice position here, and their AP will serve them very well against the Urkai infantry.
Our men have taken control of the city.
Yeah, just a ton of archers up there, and unfortunately these spearmen are getting shot in the back. I really do think he should have pulled back a unit of spears to go on the wall and silence those archers. As you can see, those archers will become a very major problem later in the battle. My Wardens of the White Tower doing an excellent job of solidifying this line here. My Fountain Guard taking a pretty unfortunate amount of losses, so I'm going to pull a unit of Gondor infantry over here to help them out. I'm going to pull them back, or try to surround these units here. Again, the Urkai infantry are going to be able to far outclass my own Gondor infantry because the Urkai infantry have 9 attack, 22 defense, so they're much better than the Gondor infantry who only have like 5 attack, 20 defense. So my Gondor infantry are definitely going to struggle in this fight. I do kind of wish, or I guess hope, that the Gondor infantry will have maybe like 1 or 2 more attack in the future, because honestly they're really not a very good unit as it is. I mean, they're cheap, but they don't really have that many. They don't really even have that many men in the unit, honestly. So they're really just not a very good unit. Over here, you can see the footmen were taken out. However, there are some savages now. The Edhelm Halberdiers helping out my Fountain Guard and infantry. However, the Halberdier is kind of pushing forward a little too far. So if Umbar decides to push any more units, he will be able to completely surround these Halberdiers here, and that would be a very, very unfortunate loss. I think unfortunately, I believe my Ithilien Rangers might be getting close to being out of ammo as well. And yes, this is where things start getting very, very bad. There's some Urkai crossbows and another unit of archers coming up on the wall here. These Tarnassian Guard are getting absolutely butchered by the Urkai archers. Things are just really looking bad for us. However, the actual infantry fight where my own infantry are, it's actually looking okay. My Fountain Guard doing a good job here fighting against the Spear Guard and infantry. My infantry not doing too well, but they're doing alright. And over here, you can see that the fight has kind of recommenced over here. You can see Gundabad and Isengard really pushing forward here. However, now that Murrow and Legate Lothus have kind of reformed their lines, they're doing a bit better. You can see there's a lot of archers back there giving some support. And also the constant BP firing of the Rangers is also really helping out here as well. But again, it's just proving a very, very difficult, very close fight on all sides. And it looks like a couple units of the Uruk-hai infantry of Eclipse are going around the back now. However, the Black Swan Vanguard, backed by all these archers, should be enough to hold them back. Honestly, I think it might have been a little bit of a micro mistake, or, army comp mistake by Legate Lothus to bring so many Dor and Ernal archers instead of rangers. But we'll have to see how that turns out in the future. Guardians of Karndun looking pretty rough now. They've taken a lot of losses. Blackguard in here, though, really doing a nice job of folding over this line here of the Edhelm Men-at-Arms. There's a very large amount of Uruk-hai pikemen coming in here, as well as the Ballista. Must be out of ammo. Guards of Orthanc. Ooh, and Nazkai coming around here. Honestly, they might have been better to place the Nazkai and Guards of Orthanc around the flank, because that would have put a lot of pressure on the defenders. But as it is, it's beginning to be a really close fight. Or really, it just has been a close fight this whole time. But ooh, over here, we've got some Abrazenim Narduzigar and 2 units of Castamir's Legion surrounding these Edhelm Halberdiers and fighting against my Fountain Guard, so things are really not looking too good for us. The Pikes are here trying to help out. A lot of archers going off on the wall. Again, the skirmishers are proving just so deadly for us. We cannot deal with the skirmishers. And over here you can see some Narduzigar that came off the wall about to flank the pikemen, so the pikes are going to get really destroyed by that pretty quickly. Over here, my second unit of Citadel Guard trying to cut their way through these Half-Orc Spear Guard to get to the crossbows. Again, it's going to be pretty much too late. We've also got some Gondor infantry up there trying to deal with the crossbows, but Guards of Orthanc are going to be enough to deal with that unit of infantry. And over here, my Citadel Fountain Guard have pretty much beaten the Spear Guard. However, they're getting crossbowed straight in the back now because as you can see, the Spearmen have all been dealt with.
Only half the enemy force
And yes, he is
remains.
shooting my Fountain Guard straight in the back, and that is just proving to be so deadly. It's really unfortunate. And again, all of this could have been avoided if we defended just that one choke point, but I don't like doing that. Over here, we've got the Wardens of Light Tower and Ithilien Rangers still holding pretty strong, but slowly getting beaten back. Only 10 Berserkers remaining. Crossbows and archers just really doing work. And over here, my Citadel Guard still relatively healthy and doing a good job against those Uruk-hai infantrymen. AP really serving them well in that fight. Yeah, things are really not looking good for us. My Fountain Guard pretty much dead by now. Trying to pull them out of there just to give them a little bit of a fighting chance. However, although they were skirmished down pretty quickly, they definitely did do a lot of damage. And I'm honestly not sure how I feel about the Fountain Guard losing their spear wall, because I understand that AP pikes are almost impossible to beat, but there's javelins and archers, you know, are always still really good, especially because the Fountain Guard don't have shields, of course. They've got good armor, but the lack of shields really makes them an easy target for things like crossbows and javelins. So I just don't know how I feel about the Fountain Guard losing spear wall, honestly, especially because in a field battle, Gondor really struggles, just because there's so much melee cav, and because of how strong wargs are against every type of cav pretty much imaginable. Gondor really struggles against, well, just really struggles in general in field battles, I think, just because they don't have any cavalry variety at all. Their only good cavalry unit is the Gandalf's Retinue Bodyguard, and it's not even technically a knight unit, so it doesn't have the same bonuses as most knight units. It's also not as expensive as knight units, but still. And also, they don't have any melee cav, and their only light cavalry unit is the militia tier unit, so honestly, Gondor really struggles in a field battle as it is, so I'm not totally sure how I feel about the Fountain Guard losing their spear wall, because that was definitely something that helped them out for sure in field battles. Over here, though, you can see that things are looking a little bit more even. However, while the defenders do outnumber the attackers in this area, you can see that the quality of the attackers here is really high. You can see there's Nazkai, there's Guards of Orthanc, there's Witchrealm Blackguard. There's a ton of elites in here, so we're trying to use fire ammo as well as all the ranger ammo. I think most of the body piercing arrows are out of ammo now, so things really looking pretty even over here. And over here, the 2 units of Uruk-hai infantry are being cut down now by some of the Black Swan Vanguard and some Edhelm Men-at-Arms, as well as some Black Root Vale archers who are out of ammo. So that will be the end of that flanking force. There are still some crossbows, though, so things are really looking even pretty much all across the board. Some Nimrodel Rangers going to go over there and support the line. A catapult is actually going over there as well. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. But anyway, I also should mention that this is actually going a little bit better than the last time I tried recording this battle, because last time I tried recording it, it crashed 2 times. Anyway, over here you can see we're really doing bad. You can see the pikes getting completely surrounded by the Castamir's Legion. My Found Guard's still doing okay, but again, things are really not looking too good for us, especially because they are getting shot in the back now by some Ebers and Nardubaweed. Crossbow Corsairs, luckily just firing straight into the ram there, so not going to be able to do too much damage. But again, Darrett has a ton of forces remaining. He's got some shield guard going off the wall now. Over here, my Citadel Guard, I was really unhappy about this. I don't understand what this angle is, but for whatever reason, the Uruk-hai crossbows can fire over the heads of these Half-Orc Spear Guard and go straight into my Citadel Guard, so my Citadel Guard are really struggling there. They're also about to be getting surrounded by some Guards of Orthanc, so that will be the end of that unit. Over here, my Fountain Guard are all dead. My Wardens of the White Tower are barely holding on. They will get killed pretty quickly here, though, by some archers and some crossbows. Although over here, my Citadel Guard have pretty much taken out that entire unit of Uruk-hai infantry. However, they're about to get surrounded by another unit of Uruk-hai berserkers. Again, it was a really big mistake of me to not realize that there was no way that they could get up here from this wall to the upper wall, because that was pretty much why I left that entire unit of Citadel Guard there, because they could have gone somewhere completely different, like up here on the wall, to stop these skirmishers from going up there. But again, there's nothing we can do about that now. Wardens of the White Tower are going to get cut down now by those Uruk-hai infantry, so they definitely did do good, but they are now going to be getting cut down because they're unsupported. Citadel Guard's still doing pretty well. And over here, things are really not looking good. Unfortunately, the catapult is not over on the side, otherwise I'd be able to take out a lot of these Castamir's Legion. Found Guard's still doing well, though. That is unsurprising, considering it is definitely the one of the best Gondor units that they actually can field. I definitely think if the Fountain Guard weren't as strong as they were, or as they are, I should say, I would pretty much never play them. Just because of their lack of cavalry, so they really hold a good power. In a siege battle, it's not as noticeable. Ooh, yeah, things really looking close over here. The archers are really the only thing that's keeping the good guys, or good factions in this fight, because you can see the elites really doing a good job of cutting down all the men-at-arms and archers that are over here. But the body piercing was able to take out most of the mid to low tier attacking units here. But again, the elites like the Guards of Orthanc, Nazkai, and Witcher-on Blackguard still very healthy. So things are looking super, super close there. However, over here, it looks like the men of Dol Amroth were victorious at taking out those 2 units of Uruk-hai infantry, so they will be free to re-support the line over here, which is definitely where it is needed, because you can see things are getting really hairy. Oof, yeah, not looking too good for us at the moment. However, yeah, percentage is real close. Still a decent amount of spearmen, it looks like, as well as some men-at-arms. Oh, pardon. And I don't know if I explained this earlier, but our plan was to have Legate Lothis support both myself and Muro, and then I would deploy pretty much my whole force over here, and Muro would deploy his over there. Fountain Guard fighting hard against some archers and anything else that is over there. Castamir's Legion flanking around now. Gonna go after my Gondor infantry, and again, Gondor infantry, even though they're pretty much completely healthy, will be far outclassed by these Castamir's Legion. That's not a fight they would ever in a million years win. So that is going to be the loss of my Gondor infantry with pretty much no return for any of it. So that is very unfortunate. But again, I really am sad that Gondor infantry is kind of as bad as it is, but whatever, it's okay. Because they're pretty balanced against most orc factions. It's just against certain factions that Gondor will really struggle, especially against factions like Isengard and even Umbar that have really good solid infantry. Because the standard Gondor infantry is running on match for units like that. But anyway, over here, Citadel Guard trying to deal with these Uruk-hai archers and the Guards of Orthanc, things right on all sides. Citadel Guard will lose this fight eventually against the Guards of Orthanc. However, the Guards of Orthanc, this is the general's unit actually of Napoleon. We'll see if we can see him. He's somewhere on the front line. Yeah, there he is. He's right there. So if he's not careful, he could lose his general, which could slightly turn things back in our favor, especially because over here you can see that Isengard has completely won this gate, mostly because of their skirmishers. So going skirmish heavy definitely paid off for him. Over here, some Uruk-hai infantry going to flank my Citadel Guard. Archers also fighting hard against my Citadel Guard, but the Citadel Guard will be able to beat those archers, well, hopefully. They will be able to at least take out a lot of the archers there. I've got my Ramescore Garrison archers trying to fire into the backs of these elites here, but because they're elite and have really good armor, it's not going to be too much damage. And over here, yes, Fountain Guard being surrounded by Castamir's Legion as well as Harbingers of Castamir. That is going to be the end of my 4 Fountain Guard. You can see they're actually wavering. They might, in fact, rout. Over here, you can see, yeah, my Gondor infantry just completely butchered. Absolutely zero chance whatsoever against the Castamir's Legion, as well as the crossbows that were giving them support. And just like that, that's pretty much going to be the end of this outer defense, with the exception of these Fountain Guard that are about to be taken out and my Citadel Guard on 2 portions of those walls there. We can take a look over here and see how things are progressing. I should probably put it back up to normal speed. Ooh, look at this, yeah. Getting really, really bloody here. You can see that most of the defenders have been taken out, but things are really not looking too good for the attackers either. There's still 31 Blackguard, there's still, where are they, 23 Nazkai. The Haven Guard are in here, but they're down to only 10 remaining. That is the General's unit. And there's only 21 guards of war tanks, so really, really close fight. There's also some crossbows over here giving some support.
Good tidings.
And,
The enemy
oh yeah, look at that. The Napoleon's General. Ooh, there goes the Haven Guard.
We must help his men avenge him.
There's Imrahil being taken out by some crossbows. But yeah, looks like Napoleon did in fact lose his general to my Citadel Guard there. And yeah, so pretty much just like that, the whole outer defense here has been taken by Umbar and Isengard, who are both very healthy for doing that anyway. They were just really able to spread us out super, super thin, so we really had no chance there. And the really skirmish-heavy army of Napoleon really proving to be worth it. Citadel Guard, though, still doing well against the archers, getting a ton of kills. This is on large settings, and the money was 39,000, so 13k each for the defenders, and 248,000, so 12k each for the attackers. You can see that all the defenders are running low on numbers, as well as the attackers. Pretty good. I believe all of the trolls of Angmar have finally been taken out, so that's good. Good for the defenders, I should say. Crossbows, fighting hard against some Haven Guard, surprisingly. And over here, some crossbows maybe not going to surround the arms? No, they are. Okay, good. I was going to say, it'd be a little odd if they were just going to go somewhere else. So yeah, things looking pretty even over here. However, there are some reinforcements from Legate Lothis coming around. You can see a lot of, well, actually some Haven Guard and some Edhelm men-at-arms coming over there to help out as much as they can. Really a fun settlement. Unfortunately, I've been crashing almost like 70 to like 80% of the time I ever try to do a siege, either right when it starts or like midway through, so I haven't been able to get too many siege battles out, but I assure you I will be constantly trying to get more of them out, because siege battles are of course one of the more fun things about this game. See, Umbar's still very healthy. He's got his generals, the Harbingers there, taking only 4 losses. These pikes, ooh, just getting absolutely butchered. You can see they really didn't do anything. Edhelm men-at-arms? Don't know where these guys came from. Maybe you're going to try to help out my Citadel Guard. Interesting. But going to be no match for the troops there. Catapult. Oh, also, I don't think I mentioned that Napoleon actually has 1 catapult and 1 ballista. I thought that was kind of interesting. It's very interesting to me that that's what he did. It's not necessarily bad. I just have never seen that before. But then recently, for some reason, when I was trying to do an Orthanc, he just saw another player do that. So I don't know what that was about. Anyway, some Spear Guard and some... Oh, actually, Spear Guard actually instantly routing. But Uruk-hai Infantry and Spear Guard going to go over here and try to fight against my remaining Citadel Guard. So it's going to be a very tough fight for my Citadel Guard. However, they were able to take out pretty much this entire unit of Uruk-hai Archers, so definitely doing a good job of racking up the kills. But these Citadel Guard kind of cut off from their allies, so they will probably be taken out. This is probably going to be the end of that unit. Very valiant effort on their part, though. They definitely paid for themselves. Well worth the 950 or 975 florins. Over here, though, the Catapult of Muro. A very important thing, or piece of this defense, considering how many forces Derrit and Napoleon have left over, is actually being cut out now by some Aberzen and Nardu Bawid and some Castamir's Legion. So we're trying to slow down the advancing forces here with whatever we can. Got some Ramescore Garrison Archers here, trying to give some support just long enough for the Catapult crew to get back behind the lines. Some Turnostian Guards sitting there, as well as 3 units of Dol and Ernal Archers. And over here, I've sent a pretty good portion of my remaining forces. I've got pretty much no infantry left over. I've basically just got archers that are out of ammo now. And over here it looks like still pretty even, but I think now that the Haven Guard and a lot of more reinforcement forces are over here, I think this will be the end of Angmar and Isengard. However, they definitely did a huge amount of damage. We'll see if it was enough. Oh, look at those bodies. That was a deadly, deadly fight. Actually, I think that's kind of a pretty, actually a pretty dope thumbnail, I would think. You can see the boats in the background as well, so I think that looks kind of cool. But yeah, things really looking pretty even, honestly. Nazkai still at 17, there's still some Blackguard, so we will definitely take losses killing these forces here, but I think this will be the end of Isengard and Angmar on this flank. Drone Blackguard having fought this whole time are exhausted now, not to mention the fact that they did have to run from pretty much this whole side. Nazkai gonna try to reform their lines. I actually will be right back. Alright, so I am back now. Unfortunately, when I'd come back from doing what I was doing, the game had actually crashed, or the replay rather, so I am back now after a little bit of time trying to get it back to where I was. But anyway, so over here on this flank, the attackers have been pretty much wiped away. There's only, what, 19 Blackguards, some Nazkai, some Pikes, and that's basically all they have over here, as well as a few scattered crossbowmen. But over here, things are looking real bad for the defenders. You can see that the front line of the Tarnostian spears has actually engaged with the Umbar forces. There are some Aberzenum Nardubawi here, some Narduzagar. I'll put it back down at all speed. And there are some Castamir's Legion here as well. However, the catapult of Murrow is back there as well, so hopefully we'll be able to get some good hits here. And that's definitely something that we need because we're barely holding on as it is. Hopefully those forces on the other side will be able to beat the remaining attackers and then come over here as quickly as possible and try to reinforce the line. Because as you can see, there's not a lot of forces there, for whatever reason. My general's unit of veterans of Osgiliaths out here, I don't know what that was all about. Maybe I was trying to push them down from this wall down here, but they decided to go the long way. But if I'm not careful, I might lose my general there, because he's going to get attacked by these Castamir's Legion, I would assume. But anyway, I'm going to go here and see how things are progressing with the final stand, really, of these attackers on this side. There are, let's see, some Berserkers, there's Nazkai, and then the Blackguard are still up as well. There are some crossbows being attacked by my own Gondor archers. However, my Gondor archers are shaken en route. And I think all of the generals now are dead with the exception of Umbar, myself, and then Legate Lothus is. Oh, that's my dog again. I'll be right back. I'm sorry, guys. Alright, I'm back now. She just put her next to me so she won't bark. But anyway. So yeah, things are really not going too well. It's still really even, honestly, because if you look at the percent, it's still within 2%, so it's been really close this whole time. Honestly, yeah, I don't really know what could have been done differently on either side quite yet. You can see that the catapult is still trying to get into a good position to fire, but because there really aren't that many actually attacking forces here... Oh, there goes actually one of the few remaining generals. I think that was Angmar's general, actually. But because there isn't a lot of room here to do anything with the catapult, we're going to have to try to beat these Umbar forces with our own infantry, which is not going to work out too well, because the spears are just barely holding on as it is, and against the Castamir's Legion, my veterans of Osgiliath will lose. And especially with the advance of these crossbow corsairs here, my veterans might get shot in the back. I don't know what I was saying before, because there goes another general, actually. Oh, catapult hit, actually, though. Ooh, taking a good piece of those Narduzagar and Aberzen and Nardubawi, but again, I don't like the targets he's picking here, because the Narduzagar are good, but there weren't that many of them left. But the archers aren't that good in melee anyway. What he needs to be doing is bringing the catapult over to this side and trying to target units like these Castamir's Legion, because the Castamir's Legion are what is really cutting down these Tarnostian guards. You see the Castamir's Rangers are also trying to target down the catapult crew, but looks like that's not going to be too effective. Isengard is also trying to make its way over here slowly but surely. Also, I was able to get my veterans of Osgiliath into the kind of main line here, so they're not out here all by themselves. So that's definitely good. Some returning Narduzagar. Oh no, they're actually still ready, but they were coming back to the fight. But no. Over here, though, you can see that the remaining forces. I'm running my forces over there because I know how dire our situation is over there, but it looks like a lot of the Dol Amroth forces are actually just walking over there, and that is really going to be a mistake, I feel, because we're barely holding on over there as it is. And as soon as Isengard gets over there as well, then I think it will be enough to break those spearmen. So Legate Lothus definitely needs to run his forces over there, especially the Haven Guard and Men-at-Arms, because the spearmen are not enough to deal with the Umbar and Isengard forces. You can see the archers of Legate Lothus are also getting up here on the wall. They're going to try to target down some important units. Hopefully they will target the back of these Casimir's Legion, because again, that is what really is doing most of the damage there. He might also try to target these Rangers, though. There's also still the Shield Guard, but again, the Shield Guard aren't super great in melee because they're spearmen. The Castimirs, Harbingers of Castamir are also very, very deadly. And I think Napoleon, the only good infantry he has left over are his elite spears, or his Guards of War thing, because the rest of what he has is just kind of remnants. He's got one somewhat healthy unit, I believe, of infantry, but besides that, he's just got a ton of archers, actually. Yeah, he's still got 47 infantry there, because my Citadel Guard have all been taken out. Yeah, things are really not looking too good. Ooh, yeah, the Dor Infernal Archers taking a lot of body-piercing arrows here, but that's actually probably fine, because as soon as the other reinforcing troops from Dol Amroth come, then the Rangers would have had a field day against them. However, you can also see that the Shield Guard are now being committed, and again, those reinforcements are really, really taking their time here. You can see mine are starting to come over here, but again, because they're so low tier, they're just low tier archers, they're not going to be able to do too well. See the Shield Guard pushing forward now with the Casimir's Legion. The Casimir's Legion actually doing a good job of flanking around the side, so things are really not looking too good. Still very even, but it looks, yeah, it's actually dead even as it is. Okay, that was a good hit. That was straight into spearmen, or that was straight into those pretty elite spears, and they have a locked morale, so those guys are not going to rout. Ooh, whoa, did he actually take out, I think he took out a ton of those Harbingers of Casimir as well. So again, that was actually a pretty good hit, but it looks like most of the elites are kind of going around this way, so I'd honestly consider bringing the catapult around to the other side and try to hit those elites. But ooh, looks like the Casimir's Legion trying to go after the catapult crew, but luckily my Ramesses Garrison archers are here to stop them, at least for the time being. The Numenorean Shield Guard still fighting strong against the Tarnassian Guard and my own Veterans of Osgiliath, who are down to 25 men. The Orc catapult is on its way over here as well. Most of the Rangers have been targeted down by the archers. Same goes for the Crossbow Corsairs. And it looks like, ooh, yeah, things are just, they're just really coming down to the wire here. However, the attackers still have a lot of forces remaining, and the defenders do not have much left over. You can see the Urkai archers trying to skirmish down these Dor and Ernal archers here, because the Urkai archers still do have ammo somehow. They've been firing pretty much the whole game at the backs of our units, but somehow they still have ammo. There's the general. The Veterans of Osgiliath still trying to hold on, but against these elite types of troops, against the lower number, they will fall. So this probably will be the end of my general. Ooh, the Umbar general getting a good kill there. Ramesses Garrison and my own standard Gondor archers trying to hold their best against these. Oh, honestly, that might have been it right there. That might be the end. As you can see, he got such bad friendly fire. He just took out like all of his spears and pretty much no enemies. So that will probably be the end. It's my Veterans down to 15. Tarnassian Guard, one unit routed, the other's barely holding on. But I think that'll maybe be it. I mean, because you can see the reinforcements are finally here, but honestly, I think it's too late. It's going to be too little too late, especially considering how much... Oh, good general snipe, though. I think it's going to be too little too late, honestly, because there's still a lot of Urkai left. There's still a pretty decent amount of Umbar forces. You can see there's still a lot of these Numenorean Shield Guard. You can see my general right there, one of the last 6 Veterans of Osgiliath. He will be getting taken out pretty shortly here, though. I believe Boromir is still alive somewhere as well. Only got 5 Veterans left. One got an okay kill there. Oh, right. Yeah, it looks like things are... Oh, man, this is just so bad, so bad. My general, one of the last 3 of my Veterans of Osgiliath, is getting beat down, but he's not going to give up. Oh, there's Boromir actually right there as well. Boromir and my general are the last 3, but oh, there goes the general, and another one, and there goes Boromir. They all died pretty much at the exact same time. But again, they did okay. Honestly, though, looking at their performance looking back on their performance, I don't think I will be bringing the veterans of Osgiliath again. I mean, they're okay. It's just they really didn't seem that worth it to me for their cost, especially because with the armor upgrades, they cost like 1,100 florins. So I think I'll probably be bringing the Wardens of Minas Ithil. They're a body-piercing ranger unit similar to the Lords' Hunting Pack, however they're quite a lot worse in terms of melee and armor and just things like that, as well as stats. But they're okay, they're not bad. We'll see if the body-piercing, though, could actually turn out to be better than the Veterans of Osgiliath, just overall damage and more money in the unit. Because the Wardens of Minas Ithil, of course, actually have way less money than the Veterans. Here comes the Catapult. Yeah, again, I think this will pretty much be it. I mean, there's still 43 Haven Guard and a good amount of Edhelm Men-at-Arms, but just the overall quality, I think, of the attackers remaining, I think that'll pretty much be it. Especially because there's still a huge amount of Uruk-hai archers. There's still the Guards of Orthanc going into the fight now. Yeah, and you can see all the crossbows and archers. I think that'll pretty much be it. So I'll go ahead and put it up to 2 times for now, especially with this Catapult. If it is able to get a good hit off, then that's pretty much game over. Archers coming off the walls now. Guards of Osgiliath going to be committed over here. And yeah, that's a pretty damn good hit. And straight into those men-at-arms. And taking out the Catapult that's now out of ammo. I think that'll pretty much be it. Just really a matter of how long these men-at-arms, archers, and Haven Guard can stand. Shield Guard's still okay in terms of health. Oh, another really good hit there. Yeah, that's going to go ahead. That's going to be it. Harbingers of Casimir, though, down to 10. They definitely took a lot of losses. Unsurprising, though, considering they were fighting against Haven Guard. You can see the Guards of Osgiliath, or no, Guards of Osgiliath, sorry, what are they called? The Guards of Orthanc, rather, are cutting down the last of these Dor Infernal archers with some support from Casimir's Legion. Some other units. Again, I really honestly think if Imrahil maybe picked a little bit of better targets, like maybe had gone after the Casimir's Legion, and even still, right now he should be going after the Guards of Orthanc with his Catapult instead of the crossbows. I think we might have been able to pull this off, but as it is, I think that'll pretty much be it. See some archers that are ammo coming into the fight now, and yeah, that'll pretty much be it. You can see the frames going down. Only 3,000 remaining, or 4,000, sorry. So I'll go ahead and leave on 2 times. The Haven Guard not going to go down without a fight. They will be able to make this pretty close. Catapult also, but again, Catapult should be targeting these Guards of Orthanc. The Guards of Orthanc are pretty much the only thing of real quality left over. I mean, there are still some Shield Guard, but he really, really needs to be targeting these Guards of Orthanc. Because you can see the Guards of Orthanc have finished cutting down the archers and will be free to go around wherever they want now. Either to this main fight, or to flying completely around. You can see most of the men-at-arms have fallen. There's only some archers and a few random men-at-arms left over. There are only 5 in that unit and 12 in that. I've got a few random archers in here, but again, I've pretty much spent at this point. Catapult still targeting Uruk-hai crossbows. I do believe that was a mistake, but again, those things do happen in the middle of battles like this. I think he's pretty much out of ammo. He might have like 1 or 2 more volleys left, but you can see that the attackers are getting closer to the Catapult crew. There goes the general, so that's going to lead to a lot of routing, I would assume, from these lower units like the Dor Amroth archers. Oh, calm down. Sorry. I just don't want to let her go because then she'll start barking. It's almost Anyway, yeah, you can see the crossbows still managing to get some really nice arcing shots into there. See some routing troops now. And this will pretty much be the end of these forces, so I'll go ahead and put up to 6 times right now. Haven Guard in there, down to 18. Got to back up a little bit. Some returning Ramscore Garrison archers. After routing, they've come back, but they're going to get killed anyway. Well, it was a really close battle. I mean, if you look at it, it's within 3%. So I really did enjoy this battle. I thought it was a really fun one. I definitely am going to be trying to do it again on huge settings, and maybe next time it'll be against more Umbar armies, more Mordor and Umbar armies, rather than 2 Isengard armies. See, the last of the defending forces getting outflanked, that'll be it.
Defeat seems
Yep,
almost
the defenders are now admitting defeat. But yeah, that'll pretty much be it for this battle. I will definitely retry this eventually on huge settings. I was going to do it on huge settings originally, but it just kept crashing so many times. I just couldn't do it, so I tried it on large, and it actually worked. So I was pretty happy with it. It was pretty close. I'm just always sad when I see elites with only like 48 men in the unit instead of 63.
Our enemies have snatched victory from us like thieves in the night. They will not be so lucky next time.
Yes, it was indeed a very close battle. You can see Imrahil getting the most kills for the defenders, getting 2,347 kills. I was not too far behind him. Legate Lothus. I guess our strategy of him splitting his forces between us didn't really work out too well for him in the end, because you can see he only got 1,100 kills. Most kills for the attackers went to second pink, even though he had the fewest men in his army. He was able to get 1,300 kills. Not far behind him is Garrett though. Take a quick look at the exact kills. My veterans was good. I'm only getting 68 kills. That's less than 1 per man in the unit. You can see there's 86 originally. Gondor archers. All my archers did well. My wardens, the White Tower, actually did really well. 154 kills is not bad at all, especially on huge settings or large settings where there's only 48 in the unit before any fighting. And I think when I first committed, it only had 38, so that's actually a pretty good amount of kills. My Found Guard doing extremely well. My Citadel Guard doing awesome, especially that unit that was fighting on the wall for so long. My Infantry doing spotty. Some units doing good, others not so well. Valiant Rangers, of course, getting 265 kills is unsurprising. Pellegrin Rangers did not do bad either, but that will pretty much be the end of this video. I also wanted to mention that I think I might be uploading some different type of videos. I recently got a PUBG. I'm pretty horrible at it, but if you guys do want to try out PUBG with me, go ahead and just message me on either Steam or Discord. I'll try to answer you as soon as possible. I should probably warn you that I'm horrible at it. I don't mean to make it into like a serious thing or whatever. I just kind of want to do it as a little bit of difference to my channel, because I pretty much only do Reforged. Also, I think it'll be more of like a funny type series, not really like a serious one. But anyway, that will pretty much be the end of this video. So I hope you guys did enjoy it. Please comment, like, and subscribe if you did. If you did not, just tell me what I did wrong, and I'll be sure to fix it for the next one. So farewell wherever you fare, till your eyes receive you at your journey's end.